show, 5 Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to another episode of 5 Stripe Weekly, and yes, Atlanta United, they defeated Inter Miami 5-2, a Lionel Messi-less Inter Miami, and it was a drubbing that it was very, very well deserved in some respects where, we got that revenge, that sweet, sweet revenge that we really wanted after that Leagues Cup embarrassment. So, we got a little bit of that. But before we get into that match review, I want to remind you guys that we have a brand new Patreon in the sense that there are some revamped tiers and some new members have already joined the audience, and we'd love to see you there. So if you haven't joined us, get in on the grassroots level as we're trying to level up the content every single day. And we have some amazing things that we can't wait to share with you guys. So definitely get in there, patreon.com/ATL Utd Fan TV. It's also in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcatcher that you're listening it on. But shouts out to Gavin Marshall, Jordan Beck, Nal Faruqi, Andrew Owicki, Ariel Acosta, and Chris James for joining us in one of the upper tiers where you get a shout out. So yes, definitely much love to you guys. But as well, we also are on the road to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So yes, we'd love to be able to get to see if we can get there as well at that 10,000 mark. Just want to keep growing all the socials and the channels, and so help us out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're new, definitely hit that sub button. But all right, let's get into this match review. And so of course, like aforementioned, Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba, they were left off the game day roster. And Tata Martino, he cited muscular fatigue, quote unquote, and a resultingly elevated risk of injury. But he chalked it up to inevitable realities of Inter Miami's congested stretch run schedule, and of course the thousands of miles that Messi racked up on his journey to South America to play for Argentina during the September international window. So that night before, on Friday, he was seen. He stayed in Miami, and there was a Argentinian pizza shop. I'm saying it all strange, but Argentinian pizza shop in Miami that he posted his pizza. And this will play a part into later on in the match review. But yes, it kind of pretty much set off alarm bells for a lot of people, because they realized, oh crap, wait, he's still in Miami. He did not travel with the team. Something's awry. Something is amiss. And you were one of the people that noticed it on Friday night. What was your reaction when you saw the famous pizza? Now, I would say maybe infamous, from Lionel Messi.
Yeah. I mean, besides the fact that it was a pizza I would never have, because I get it's Argentinian pizza. It's like a special kind of way of doing it. There was this crazy deep dive that someone on it was on, like
Alexis Guerreros, CBS Golazo.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did a huge rundown about the history of pizza, and it was hilarious. So if you check that out. But no, I mean, I like New York style pizza, so like this was nothing like what I'm interested in. So I was like, what is that? So anyway, when I saw that, I was like, that's a Miami pizza place. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Tata Martino can sometimes be seen as being a little deceptive in terms of psychological warfare a day before a game. So you never want to put anything totally past some pieces of strange news that come out before games to kind of unsettle or unrest teams that they're going up against. In this case, it wasn't to be like that. We had some insider reporting from one of our good friends of the channel, and one of the co-hosts at Scarves and Spikes, good old Tyler Pilgrim, did some on-the-ground reporting. Well, not on the ground, but from a telephone. He called the pizza place to verify, to make sure that pizza actually did arrive at Lionel Messi's. He talked to the actual owner himself. And that's when I say to people, I know Lionel Messi's not going to be there tomorrow. It's because I had insider reporting. So that's why joining our Discord is a really great idea, because you can be privy to some of that insider information before it drops. So sign up, get on in there, and you could be hearing some interesting stuff in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely great for that, as well as some of the stuff doesn't really leak out as well. We kind of share a lot of very fun stuff, not only memes but also some info before it breaks out into the public. So definitely, yes, get in there. But as well, Messi, the talk was all about if turf was a factor as well. But Dr. Martino, he said the field has nothing to do with it at all. This is the day-to-day life that we have ahead of us, because we have a quest to try to reach the playoffs, but we have the Open Cup final on the 27th. So sometimes there are difficult decisions, because there are also decisive matches. But the reality is that there's a final set for the 27th. That's just one game for a title. The league is 7-8 more dates, and even if we win them all, it is not certain we get in. We started this run way behind. We won't abandon our hopes, but our focus is on the 27th. So I think that makes it fairly obvious that he prioritized some competitions, and it's at this point, Tata Martino, he knows the challenges that are afoot at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, with the fandom, with the full bowl as well. It's 71,000 plus people showed up. Unfortunately, they didn't see Messi, but that's what it is. It's a lot of upset fans, which we'll get to, but the story was way different, and like aforementioned, these 3 points were sweet. They were very welcomed, and we saw a lot of, I think, really great stats that came out afterward from this match too. But the main crux of it is Miami. They were unbeaten in all competitions since Lionel Messi came to the club, and we were able to pretty much crash that and kind of snap that streak right in half, exactly, just as Michael was I guess pantomiming. Yeah, perfect, that's the word. And so it was lovely, and there was a bit of kind of bravado a little bit going into the match. Gonzalo Pineda, he was thinking, everybody's talking about Inter Miami and Lionel Messi, but this match is about Atlanta United. And we need to make it about Atl Utd. And I think it was the right mindset. I mean, really great motivation. You saw it afterward on X.com, how Gonzalo Pineda was really trying to spur the squad on to make sure that they came out firing. Unfortunately, that wasn't exactly the case. The first 30 minutes, a little bit where, Inter Miami's press really good. They were pressing very high, and we didn't look exactly the best, and unfortunately, Inter Miami, they were able to strike first through a ridiculous Leonardo Campana strike, and basically the right back, he just blasted a ridiculous shot that hit the crossbar, and that was from distance. I
didn't expect that from Kamal Miller. Well, it was Kamal Miller, right?
Was it Kamal Miller? I don't know if it was Kamal Miller, but I think it was the right back. But either way, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was really well struck, and yeah, Guzan definitely would have been caught out. But yeah, he got caught out, unfortunately, with the strike. That's Campana. Man, I mean, it's up for the goal of the week for a reason. I mean, it's really well struck. I mean, he settles that loose ball. He's able to rainbow flick Miles Robinson, who, if you can make him look silly in this league, that's just well done. And then, yeah, he was able to volley it from there into the roof of the net. Man, just props to Campana. Yeah, that's just a striker's goal. You can't do anything about that. But in real time, frustrating as hell. And yeah, it's not something that you want to see the team concede too much. Those type of chances inside the box. But yeah, I mean, kind of a freak goal to the degree of where the ball lands. But after the first strike, but it is, yeah, ultimately, we're down 1-0, but yeah, we're able to kind of get in there, kind of rectify a little bit with Tristan Muyumba, who, yes, with a, yeah, pretty much Edward Mosquera, much maligned for most of the fan base, but yeah, he was able to get the hockey assist, the pre-assist, if you will, in this one, and yeah, was able to find Brooks Lennon, who was able to get to the byline to cross in something at the near post, and Tristan Muyumba, he was able to glance that header to the literal back post, off the back post and in, so we thought. And VAR was able to look at it and decide that it was actually a goal, much to Tata Martino's chagrin. But yeah, what did you think? Did it look like a goal when it first struck in?
No, it didn't look good to me. And then when I saw that they're doing a goal check, I'm like, this is going to get overturned. I was pretty certain that was the case. But we lucked out. It was the field, the call in the field was that it was a goal, and it wasn't clear and obvious enough to overturn anything like that. So didn't go to review, and it was, they don't have the goal line technology. So it is what it is. Sometimes these things happen. For us, the ball landed on the right side of this scenario. When I look at some of the replays, it's really inconclusive. There's one replay where it really does look like Callender reaches back into the mouth of goal and then pushes it out again. And then there's something on Twitter that someone posted about like doing these like angle calculations or whatever, saying like, oh yeah, it definitely was this, because I'm like, okay, that's whatever. But it, to me, like I said, it didn't necessarily look like it went like conclusively into the net, but it was close enough for me to be happy with the result.
Of course, yeah. If it counts, it counts. We're not too fussed normally, but yeah, it is. Yeah, the goal line technology would have ruled it pretty conclusively if a certain watch that the center ref was wearing buzzed, but that technology doesn't exist in MLS, so yeah, they had to go check. But hey, happy days at the end of it, and yeah, we were able to get an equalizer, and we were able to double the lead 5 minutes later after Shauna Silva. He chased a pass down into the left side, where he was able to hit the byline, and yeah, he shook his defender, crossed it in, and Kamal Miller, he promptly put it into the back of the net. And yep, well done, Kamal Miller. Thank you for that. That was, I think, something that we need to do more anyway, which is, it shows you that both of those first two goals came from going to the byline. And yeah, a lot of chaos can happen when you get to the byline, because you can yeah, be a little bit less predictable with kind of the crosses. It can, either be really put it in a dangerous area, or you can pull it back, hit that third man. But yeah, and then or you can stand it up to the back post. You can do all sorts of things, and so I think yeah, we're seeing the fruits of kind of getting to that byline with a couple of guys that are able to get there. So you know, that's incredible. But also in the span of 8 minutes, we were able to find the third goal of the half, and Caleb Wiley, he made a run up the left flank, did a couple of crossovers, and yeah, just man, beat his man on the dribble, and then really fizzed a ball in, and yeah, out of nowhere, Brooks Lennon, he's on the left side of the box. What's the right back doing on the left side of the box? Inside the box? It doesn't matter. He is able to sweep this ball in with aplomb. It's beautifully struck. And
attacking midfielder Brooks Lennon. I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things. I mean, he's probably one of the I would say he's up in the upper echelon of right backs in terms of attacking ability. And yeah, you know, you see his wherewithal to get into scoring positions as well as assist. He had a hell of a match, and yeah, some fans give him some stick, but yeah, I mean, he had a great match. Recorded his 4th goal and 10th assist of the season. I mean, that's hard to beat from the right back. I mean, that's yeah, he is yeah, he set career highs, but also he's having a hell of a season. So but
he's currently ranked tied 4th for assists in MLS. So that's pretty good. That's
pretty damn good from a right back for sure. And yeah, he's improving every single match from a defensive standpoint as well. So definitely, he's really doing some bits for us. But unfortunately, Miami, they were able to pull a goal back with a handball inside the box. And Campana, he stepped up to the spot, and he was able to get a brace, just beating...
this was a controversial call.
Yeah.
That was a controversial call.
Could have been. Yeah, Brahm got a yellow for this as well. I mean, that's like the given if there is actually a handball, which was that's what was adjudicated. And Campana, he was able to put this ball in where, yeah, I mean, Bregozan, he dove the other way, but yeah, this ball that Campana converted for the penalty, well, I mean, he really placed it. It was a little bit where...
He sold Guzan.
Yeah, he sold him, but it was definitely where... I mean, if he had maybe like an inch to the left, it would have hit the post and it wouldn't have gone in.
Yeah.
Like, he really put it into that bottom left corner. But yeah, well done to Campana. He had a great match, I would say. But yeah, we were able to get into the half 3-2. And yeah, this second half, maybe not as great as those 8 minutes that we were just running rampant, but definitely some really great moments in which we were, yeah, pretty much hitting them on the counter. And it was counter city pretty much. We knew when to essentially kind of throw men forward, and a lot of this was that ability to really make sure that yeah, we have guys that are making runs, and a lot of these guys were making runs. Saba Lapsanite, he came on for Edwin Mosquera, and yeah, he probably just was assisting everyone. But yeah, you know, essentially a really great play for the 4th goal, in which case Jean da Silva, he was able to beat his man, get it into Thiago Almada in the midfield, where he was able to drive at the defense and find Saba Lapsanite on the right, where Saba, he was able to square it really well, just onside Yorgos Yakimakis, in which case all he had to do was pretty much tap it in. And yeah, I mean, it's not maybe a kind of like where he just only had to like put a little bit of power on it, but he had to like sweep in that ball there. But Giacomakis, he gets his 14th of the season, and now he is tied for first in the Golden Boot race, along with Mukhtar and
0 penalties, right? Is that what it is with him?
0 penalties. So incredible in that respect that he was able to, get those high numbers from that. And as well, Thiago Almada, he gets his 15th assist of the season with the pre-assist. And so, yes, he breaks the record for Atl United, the club history anyway. Yeah, and that's if you count the pre-assists and whatnot. I'm sure he, plus with a handful of games, he probably will clear this for a good margin. But yes, definitely, Saba, he gets that clear-cut assist. But yeah, Michael, you had maybe something you were about to say?
I forget who said this, but I remember someone saying that Thiago Almada, I mean, he may have not have like scored or had some flashy plays like he can sometimes want to do. They said that he was the straw that stirs the drink, and I still think he absolutely is that player for us, and he's doing it, like you said, running at lines, breaking lines, finding those passes, being a release valve when he's playing on the more defensive end, constantly making guys sprint and tiring them out. The dude never runs out of energy. It's great to see it. So yeah, I mean, this guy, he's it's still Thiago's world, and we're still just living in it right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. He maybe doesn't necessarily get the like a traditional football stat here, but no, he was making things happen, and with that pre-assist, he gets the club record. But yeah, as well, this second half, we were just putting them to the sword. Fantastic stuff. We'll kind of have to pick our favorite goal after we talk about all of them. But yeah, I think in terms of this 89th minute goal, the nail in the coffin for sure. Saba Lapsanidze, he intercepted a pass in the center circle, and he sprinted forward. He was able to lay it off to Tyler Wolff, who had just come on. And yeah, I mean, at the top of the box, on the right side, he was able to put it into the top bins. And yeah, really well struck there. It's he put a little bit of bend on it, and I believe it did hit the bottom of the crossbar. But either way, it was really well taken. And Tyler Wolff, he is the first homegrown to hit 5 goals. And yeah, he pretty much leads all homegrowns in our history. So yeah, I mean, definitely a forward for us that he's got a bright future if he can continue to kind of develop other parts and facets of his game. But yes, so 5 goals, and yeah, a lot of fans that maybe you were looking for a lot of goals from both clubs, in which case, yeah, I mean, you got 7 goals. It's still very thrilling, but no Lionel Messi. And yeah, it's one of those where the fans afterward, they were interviewed by Felipe Cardenas of The Athletic, and he did note how some fans, there was Bianca Mathis from Beaufort, Georgia, who said, "I was devastated, really emotional. I may be a Georgia peach, but I love Messi. I found out this morning. I was really sad." There was a Jorge Musacante. What a name, really. But he said, quote, "We drove from Memphis. It's a 5-hour drive. I didn't turn around because I wanted to spend a nice time in Atlanta. Messi's not here, but Atl United and Argentina midfielder Thiago Almada is." I think I love that. And then, the same person says, "Messi needs to rest. He's 36, almost 37. I wish he were here, but unfortunately he isn't. It's still going to be a spectacle." And another fan, Raldiale, He says, I'm a Messi fan. Today was supposed to be about Messi. More than 70% of the fans here came to see Messi. I want to see how he knows that, but it's too bad. If Atlanta wins, I'll be happy for Atlanta, but I came today for Messi. Yeah, I mean, it is that. It's, like a lot of fans were expecting to see Lionel Messi, and they came away with the show, just probably not what they were expecting. But that's frankly too damn bad, because
happens. It happens to soccer. It's just part of the game.
Exactly.
I mean, you're paying. When you get a ticket, you're paying for the chance to see players play, and it's not a guarantee. So it's just comes down to strategy and what the coach thinks is best for the team.
Right. And so yeah, while some of the tickets were probably 6 to maybe 10 times what you normally pay. That is the risk you run, unfortunately, and it is that sucks. It really does. But if you're an Inter Miami fan and you came all the way here to or if you just picked up an Inter Miami kit along the way to the stadium from one of those Jersey boys, I don't feel that bad for you, honestly. That is, like I said, that's
all's fair in love and war.
That's too damn bad. But anyway, so Tata Martino, he also had some really nice words after the drubbing that he experienced. He received a pretty warm welcome as well inside the stadium. But he said, like always, it's the best to come back here. The city and the club are places we had 2 great years and felt really respected and loved. Obviously, I'm sad because we lost and we came to compete and win if it was possible, but coming back is always special regardless. Also as well, Jose Martinez, he posted on social media, thank you for the beautiful and exciting welcome. I look forward to returning to the place where we wrote unforgettable stories together. You know I'll love you forever. Yeah, when he came on for Campana, he was definitely serenaded with some really raucous cheers and just showered with love. And luckily he did not score against us, because that's what I predicted, that there might have been maybe a Jose Martinez penalty. Unfortunately, that was Jorge Campana that was able to get that. But yeah, really great to see Jose Martinez at the Benz for sure. And as well, there were some really famous people, maybe not to the level of where most people would recognize, maybe say at the LAFC Miami match or in Fort Lauderdale. But if you're a film buff, Francis Ford Coppola, he was also in an Atlanta United jersey. So I mean, there's stars everywhere. There's stars everywhere watching this game, and so it's definitely amazing to see. To wrap a bow on this match, let's pick our favorite goal. Michael, what's your favorite goal?
Mine, I think, is going to be Brooks Lennon's goal. He had a heck of a game. SofaScore gave him like 8.7 or something like that. He did amazing. That touch, I think it's Silva who's got the assist on that, who fires a very, very fast ball right to him.
Oh, it was Wiley, but yeah.
Wiley, yeah. They just blasted it right to Lennon. And to be able to control a pass of that, magnitude, and then to just do what you got to do with it, put it away, I mean, that was extremely impressive. I don't know if he could do that another 9 out of 10 times, but that was amazing. So props to him. Getting the ball to someone in the box is very hard if you don't do it very quickly. And it had to be perfect. It threaded right to him, and he had the perfect touch and the perfect finish.
Yeah, it was a fullback to fullback connection, and I rate that goal. But I think it's got to be Yorgos Giacomakis' team goal, because it's just really well played from 4 players. That I think it's difficult from one player to the next player, but when you have the connection from multiple players on the pitch, I think it's hard to do. And even though it may not look as impressive in the sense of the finish, I think it's the build up to it. And
it's oppressive in a different way, but all the same, still amazing. And we got Yorgos now averages 0.91 goals per 90 in MLS. He's kicking.
It's I believe best in the league. He's missed a lot of games through either suspension or injury, and you can only imagine how many more goals he can really get if he's playing, say, even 90% of our matches. But I think it would be, he's got, if he can score at this rate, it's definitely, I think, quite incredible stuff from a striker that's is wearing the same kit, the same number as Jose Martinez. Like that's hard to I guess follow up in general, but that's huge. So I gotta
say.
Oh, go ahead.
I gotta say, I can't tell you how excited I am for a full next season with a even more robust team than we currently have, with Yorgos being the tip of the spear with this. Mm-hmm. Seeing this guy, at full steam, hopefully no injuries, no setbacks along those lines, and he can just kind of play as many games as he can for us and also with a proper backup to give him time for when we do Open Cup and other kinds of competitions. Seeing Saba, seeing these guys, this is gonna be a team. It already is, and I think it's gonna be no longer a pretender. I think we're gonna be a contender, definitely next year, if not already this year. And it's just, get excited. Get excited for next season. This is gonna be wild.
Yeah, definitely. It's very, very exciting stuff. Although the way you just said "get excited" reminded me of Arsenal and Nicola Pepe and all that. If you know, you know. I won't get into it, but that didn't end as well as the person that said "get excited" would have thought. But hopefully that is completely not the case. But anyway, let's wrap a bow on this match, and we will be playing DC United on Wednesday, and we will have that match preview later on for you in this episode. But let's get into the news. And LA United, we are up to 6th now. I believe we were 7th coming into this match. So yes, we have been able to jump one position, which is fantastic. But Nashville below us, Columbus not in their best form. We are on the same level of points, but it's coming down to a little bit of the other things that delineate the positions in the East. But we're not that far off from a home playoff position in 4th, which Philadelphia have 47 points. But Philadelphia are definitely a tough customer, so usurping them, maybe not the easiest, but New England might be that team that they're going through some shit right now, and that might be the team to actually be able to do kind of take their place a little bit in the top 4 there. But any thoughts on the Eastern Conference and how that standings are looking?
Yeah, I think it's looking primed for us to gobble up some spaces. I think, surprisingly enough, some of the teams, and like we mentioned, New England's troubles right now, a lot of those teams in the top, except for really Cincinnati, are sputtering a bit. Orlando seems to be doing pretty well, unfortunately. So that's kind of really the only thing. After seeing them win again, I think it was against Columbus this week, they moved up a bit and kept Columbus down, so that's kind of good for us, but also we want to catch Orlando. But I think that some of these teams, they can be got after, and I think we can. If we see these teams, I think we have a chance against them. And you know what, we're not even going to probably see for 2 weeks we have DC, and then we have, I think, Montreal after. These are 2 teams we can get a six-pointer from, and I fully expect us to get wins in both cases.
Yeah, we definitely, of course, are above them in the standings. And yeah, we won't give away too much of our thoughts of later on in this episode. But yes, and yeah, a big piece of news in Atlanta and kind of world football, or at least for the national team anyway. Yes, as part of the U.S. Soccer's plan, yes, Arthur Blank, of course, the owner of Atl United, he has contributed $50 million to support building a new national training center and to expand opportunities across the soccer ecosystem in Atlanta. And so, yeah, incredible stuff for Atlanta. And yeah, basically, it'll the facility will serve as the headquarters for the U.S. Soccer Federation, and also it will create a central hub for the entire soccer community, including where coaches and referees and yeah, everybody that comes in will have the access to best-in-class training, technology, and an infrastructure to promote a successful and sustainable playing environment throughout the country. That's huge. I mean, this is as big of a thing, you know, for Atlanta as maybe just a step under Atl United. I mean, it's essentially, yeah, where Atlanta, they're really putting where, yeah, Arthur Blank has been able to put us into a position where absolutely we will at least be where the team trains and everything before the 2026 World Cup. But if we don't get a home match, you know, at the Benz during the 2026 World Cup, it will be a surprise, really. Like, it will be.
It's got to be a semifinal.
It won't make any sense. Exactly. Like, it will be. I think multiple games probably at this point. You know, because that's just, yeah, that's what we're setting it up for. And so that will be incredible. And yeah, it will definitely boost all the levels of not only Atlanta football, soccer, but also, yeah, the infrastructure, the tourism, the you know, people that are living and working here. So yeah, huge stuff. But yeah, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, I get to say in our city, we have the best of the entire nation coming here to train and to organize. That's amazing. I can tell, like, my kids, hey, you know, over there in the same city as our maybe it's probably me a little bit outside of it or whatever, but in a very close, you know, location to us, those are our nation's best playing right now, training, developing, getting better. It's an amazing, cool thing that you get to experience living here. And on top of that, this is something one of Garth Lagerwey's goals coming into this job was to bring U.S. soccer to Atlanta, and he did it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, I mean, not all on him, but we didn't hear this type of conversation before Garth got here, and he started saying it, and he did it. I mean, that's amazing. If he hasn't already been just a home run signing for us in terms of our CEO, I mean, he absolutely is now, because it's amazing. And not just Atlanta United, it's U.S. Soccer too. This guy's just tremendous.
Okay. Yeah, I love it. And then, yeah, it is definitely, it's a win in so many respects. And yeah, Lagerwey, yeah, you know, he's able to put his money where his mouth is a little bit to a degree, where Arthur Blank's money where his mouth is. But yeah, so definitely, you know, if he had a part in convincing him, yeah, I mean, I don't think maybe Arthur Blank really needs that much convincing for you know, that type of stuff. But he is definitely one that is not shy of opening his pocketbook. But yeah, let's move on from that. Atl United, they have 3 players appear on the MLS, not players, but 3, I guess, people appear on the MLS Team of the Match Day. Gonzalo Pineda, he was able to get the head coach honors for the team of the match day, as well as Brooks Lennon, who is up for the player of the match day. And Tristan Muyumba, he also was able to earn a place on the bench, he was able to get the golden spike at the end of the game for getting us back into the match, and really, doing almost everything in midfield.
Guy's amazing.
It's
absolutely amazing.
It definitely was a great match from both Lennon and Tristan Muyumba. And much credit to Pineda for how he set us up, and the subs. A lot of people maybe were questioning why maybe Saba Utd was not in the starting 11, but with the fixture congestion, a 3-game match week, I think you can kind of surmise why that did happen, but it worked out. He got a couple assists from the bench, so he didn't make the team of the match day, but all I can maybe surmise is that it was too short of a cameo. But I think when you get a couple assists from the bench, give the guy some love. That's BS. But so as well, we talked about Thiago Motta hitting the 15th assist of the season, and he currently leads MLS in that category. The record was previously held by Miguel Almiron and Julian Gressel. So definitely amazing company there, and no doubt he will probably, knock on wood, continue to raise that record. But and as well, let's see. Moving on to Wolf, he scored in the 89th minutes. We mentioned that he is the only player in Atl United history as a homegrown to score 5 goals. So yes, congrats to him. Let's move on to Atl United 2, where unfortunately, this is the bummer. They were eliminated from the playoff contention, but they were able to earn a shootout victory over Inter Miami. So we did the double this weekend over Inter Miami and their reserve squad. But it was a match that ended in 3-3 draw. But as those MLS Next Pro matches go, there's always a shootout at the end. And as well, Noah Cobb, Nick Firmino, and Kofi Twumasi, they all scored to help come back from a 2-goal deficit. So, both teams had to come back from an early, going down early. But anyway, so that does it for the news, and it gets us into the mailbag. And you guys send in these questions through IG story, and if you were a Patreon, so please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. But first question is, so there's a bunch of questions. First off, we will go with Gavin.
Thank you guys for sending them in, by the way. Keep them coming.
Absolutely. But Gavin from the Patreon, he asked, what would the match have looked like if Messi either started or came off the bench? How would it change the game state? Michael.
It would massively change the game state. You put the best player on the planet to ever play the game on a team, it's going to change things. Of course it's going to. I think Leo is almost always, in MLS at least, good for a goal contribution just by sheer scoring, and one at least by assisting. So I think he's good for 2 goals. I think he bumps up Miami 2 more goals, so they end with 4 total, and I still think we score 5 because Messi does not play defense. So I think that we could have gotten 5 still on them because their defense is really poor. So, Alba, Messi, Busquets can't fix that. I still think we win, which is, maybe controversial. Obviously things could have changed. He could have just decided to pull magic out of the hat like he sometimes does. But, there was a couple of times we could have had 2 more goals, too, during this game. There was like a couple that Yorgos missed that were pretty close. So, I mean, this was a wild game. It'd been hard to really throw another variable into it and then try and predict what would happen with that. I think all you would have seen is just more goals, maybe more from both teams even. So, but I still think may have just eked it out by 1 goal.
Yeah, no, I echo a lot of your sentiments there. Yeah, I mean, obviously the game state would have been different. It depends on when Lionel Messi would have scored. Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously the if it was like 3-3. If it was that, it might have been a little bit more difficult. And I think, you'd see kind of, would the team be going for it at that point? Or would we be trying to keep what we got? I mean, I think, well, I mentioned it during our halftime meetup that when somebody asked me, we were up 3-2, would you just set up shop? Would you try to keep what we got? I said, yeah, we probably should continue to push forward. We don't have that team to be able to just keep what we've got very well. It's we're a leaky team, and so
yeah,
it's one of those where we put them to the sword and we continue to try to score, and that's what had to happen. And I think you would have saw maybe a 9-goal thriller, like Michael was saying. So
yeah, and Pineda agrees with you. He literally said as much. He said something along the lines of like, the best way to maintain a lead is just to keep scoring. So, don't just set up shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keep piling it on.
Yeah. Next question comes from, let's see, it's a little too small for me to read it right now, so I'm going to try to expand it. But the name is, oh boy, there we go, Dayton Mucha. Founding member here, what are your thoughts on why we refuse to release Barry?
Why do we refuse to release Barry? Probably because that's just not something that's going to happen. Until, I think, we're going to try and move on from him because we obviously have, Jamal in now. But I don't think we're just going to release players. I don't think we're ever going to really do that.
Yeah. So. And it's also that. It's like, Jamal Tiara isn't fully in and integrated into the squad yet. And I don't think we need to release Barry because at this point, you'd be giving another team a chance to, kind of, I wouldn't say strengthen, but it would be maybe strengthen their depth. But I think at this point, he's a player that can essentially kill some minutes for you. And if you need maybe somebody to just give you energy, he's someone that can do that. So I don't think we need to release Barry, but I think he's definitely third in the pecking order in terms of strikers at that point. But next question, very, very interesting. Tacos de Koi, he asks, Muyumba or Nagby? Who do y'all take?
Man. I think Nagby's probably at his prime. I think Nagby's probably a little better. Because just looking at, so if you think of it like this, there's another way of looking at it, like in terms of accounting wise. So Tristan came in not as a DP. Nagby, when he got released from Atlanta United, went to go play at Columbus as a DP, I think. If not, he was quickly transformed into a DP. So, Tristan is a incredibly serviceable person for his role, and he's very similar to Nagby without costing a DP. So I think with that, he just might be the better deal overall. However, if you're just going to compare 1-to-1 player-wise, Nagby, I think, in his prime, a little bit better than Tristan.
Yeah. I think you got to go with the champion. And Darlington Nagby, of course, helped us win an MLS Cup, as well as some other cups as well. So I think, far and away, Darlington Nagby would be the choice. But Tristan Muyumba, he's got a lot of good qualities that is really helping us right now. But the jury's out, I think, on him. We know he's got a lot of quality, but yeah, he's got to help us win some cups in order to, I think, really overtake Darlington Nagbe in that kind of pitting against him type of question. So, but really interesting question. Thank you for that. And let's see. In terms of another question, let's see. A lot of the other ones are asking if we're going to go to the playoffs or we're going to go all the way into the cup. We won't answer those quite yet, but there is a question that I think interests me. In Eduardo V14, he asks, thoughts on Shonda? I first saw him play when he first joined West Ham and was excited when he joined.
Yeah. I mean, so far he's been great. He's been a revelation. I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Atlanta United did not have attacking threats for a number of years outside of their striker. And it really showed in that all you had to do to stop Atlanta was basically put their striker on an island, because their wingers and their fullbacks and their central midfield are not going to be able to score goals. So they're just going to try and feed the striker. You just mark him, with 2-3 defenders, and that's all she wrote. So now we have guys, when the striker is occupied or when Thiago Almada is occupied, they have room to operate. And we're seeing what happens when they get into the kitchen and start cooking, specifically with Saba. I mean, even we're starting to see some of the other players that traditionally haven't been doing as well for us start to do a little bit better. And you talk about the Messi effect. I think the Saba, Silva, and Tristan effect has been doing wonders for the rest of our team. I think a lot of their confidence is up too, and they're playing better than they ever have been. So, everyone's just doing better because of them. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's really well said. And that question actually came from Alex Novak 14, not Eduardo V14. But I think they asked very similar questions and asking us, do you think Saba would perform the same as a starter? And I think you pretty much answered it. I mean, it's just it's that, like, we have a couple of players that on the wings we've desperately needed. We needed that production from the forward line in aspects other than center forward, and these two, they have been bringing a dynamic that we have sorely needed for quite a while. And Saba being a designated player, I fully expect him to continue to perform as a starter. And in terms of the reason why he didn't start this match, is probably with an eye on Wednesday, and as well, the match fitness that he's still building. So, but that's pretty much all the questions for this week. In terms of the mailbag, like I said, definitely continue to send your questions in, and we might answer your question in the future. But let's get into the match preview then. And Atl United, they will be playing D.C. United on Wednesday at 7:30. They're currently 9th in the Eastern Conference, 9 wins, 8 draws, 12 losses. And their last match, they drew 0-0 to Charlotte FC. So, yeah, that's not a great result there. Drawing Charlotte. But, this is a team, of course, coached by Wayne Rooney. And, you have Christian Benteke, who's their talisman. But, they have major questions all over the 11. And, it's a team that's pretty flawed. Can be got at. They, of course, lost Bill Hamid last season, or this offseason, rather, and Ola Kamara and David Ochoa. And, their players that they brought in, Tyler Miller, that starting goalkeeper, he's, as we saw in our match at the Benz, he's a little tempestuous, a little bit where he you can go a little astray, and sometimes that works out in our favor, and or in terms of their opponent's favor.
It's one of best Yorgos goals.
Oh yeah,
so far.
Scoring from outside of the box from the right side. I mean, that's incredible. But it's a team that there's not a lot of high hopes for in terms of from the predictions early on in the season. They are overperforming that at the very least. because most of the pundits had them finishing pretty much dead last or only as high as 12th. So they're overperforming it as they're currently in 9th and clinging on to that last playoff spot. But yeah, it is definitely not a banner season for them at the moment, but you never know in the playoffs. So, yeah, let's get into our predicted starting 11 for this match. Yeah, it's kind of all to play for. We probably have the better team on paper as well as the better form. Let's get into the through the lines together. Braguzan, of course, in between the sticks. But who is your back line?
Yeah, so I'm going to say like who I want ideally, but I understand because of congestion, and I just don't know the current fitness status of a player like a Braum or a Lennon, because I'm pretty sure Robinson and Wiley are able to keep up with the pace of these games. Braum, a little bit older and has had a lot of games recently, especially when he went abroad for, I think it was Peru on an international duty. I think he played 90 minutes of that game. And Lennon has just been, you see him in the highlights that MLS and Atlanta United have been putting out about him having like the most mileage and stuff running up and down. He's been doing this game in, game out for us. The guy's a workhorse. At a certain point, you got to wonder if he's ever going to run out of steam. So, like, I wouldn't be super surprised if they put in, like, maybe Hernandez over him to rest him, but that's not ideal. Ideally, you want Lennon out there. Ideally, you want a Braum out there with Robinson and Wiley. But, again, it's going to come down to whether or not their bodies can handle the rigors of this many games and this much just, in Lennon's case, sprinting like crazy.
So yeah, no, definitely. I hear you. I kind of think the opposite. I think that Caleb Wiley is the one that gets rested for a little bit. Maybe comes on as energy later on in the match, but
he's young. He'll be fine.
But that's the thing. He's still developing. He's still a teenager, and I think with that, you don't want to burn out those legs that aren't fully developed quite yet. So I think Ronald Hernandez comes in. Brooks Lennon maybe, gets spelled later on with Ronald Hernandez coming in, to his position on the right later on. And, I think Luis Braum, he does keep his place. I hear you about the travel and plus playing 90-plus minutes. But I think, maybe a second half substitution with Juanjo Purata later on. It'll be okay. But, so I'm thinking Lennon, Robinson, Braum, and Ronald Hernandez. But into the midfield, I think this is where we probably have the most interesting kind of conundrums, really. But, who do you have?
So, again, ideally, we've been seeing the Rossetto-Tristan combination that's been working really well. Say what you want about Rossetto's performances the last couple games. He's had mistakes. He's made some blunders that have been kind of critical, could have been really biting us in the butt. But overall, I think he's been very serviceable. And Tristan, of course, has been Tristan. It's been a rock. I'm really, except for like that one pass that one time that basically almost gave him a goal, but luckily, for whatever reason, that guy just completely missed it. I think it was Mukhtar with Nashville. So, that was his one, I guess. But yeah, he's been amazing. So, ideally, that's the starters. However, we saw Johnny Fortune come in to replace Rossetto in the last game towards the end, around the 80th minute. I like Johnny, and I kind of hope they kind of do it again, but maybe if Rossetto gets tired, they can sub him a little earlier. But I just don't feel confident if you want to put someone like you talk about Sajic or Sosa or something like that. I don't know what type of chemistry they've been building in the training grounds, when the cameras aren't on. Whereas I've seen what has conspired between Rossetto and Tristan. So it makes me nervous seeing anyone besides that combination. So I'm going to say, Rossetto and Tristan to start with eyes on, slightly earlier subs if necessary.
Yeah. Whew, it's tough. I mean, it's gonna be, like we can only make 5 subs, and that's already a lot. But yeah, I think it's gonna be where my mind says something and my heart says something else, and my mind, of course, wants. Yeah, well, it's kind of both, really. My heart and mind want Tristan Muyamba and Matheus Sessetu to be the starters, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be where Gonzalo Pineda might roll the dice again, as he did on that away match recently, where he rocked with Sejdic and Sosa, and I think it's going to be the case again, because, yeah, I just don't know if Muyamba is 90 minutes fit for 3 games in a row. In 1 week, and so it's just, I think it's going to be the case. Sejdic and Sosa, and maybe with an eye on Muyamba coming in later on to maybe help solidify things and control a little bit more. But yeah, because it's just one of these. It's, if you chop and change like too many, obviously you start to lose the chemistry and the run that you're on, but. You have to realize that MLS is very particular, and when you go on the road, it's just going to be really different. And but, yep. So Sejdic and Sosa for me. Okay, let's get into the wingers. Who do you think they're going to be?
I think I'm going to start with saying Saba starts this game. Mascara started the last one, played quite a bit. Saba came on, was very impactful. Mascara did fine last game. I thought he did pretty good. He ran at legs even when they weren't tired, and he made them look a little tired. I was happy with his performance overall. Saba's obviously an upgrade in like every way. However, can he do the full 90 minutes? I don't know. But if Mascara comes in for him, again, it's like you said, chop and change. Like, I don't know where we're going to be at with subs or planned substitutions, things like that. But, I mean, like, we have options there if Saba can't go 90. But I would prefer him, too, because that guy's electric. And I want to see what he can do for 90 minutes. Silva, I want there to be as well on the pitch because that guy, just like Saba, extremely electric. Whenever these guys are on the field, we feel dangerous. Without them, it feels listless. It feels a little... like laborious, a little bit of the old, Atlanta United, where we're just kind of hoping and praying a ball lands in the way it needs to land in order for us to get like an easy goal, because we're just not working anything. We're not combining in interesting and dynamic ways to really offset a solidified defense. So Thiago and Jaco can only do so much to try and undo a low block or a mid block or something like that. So I want to see them start. And like I said, there's options if they can't go full 90, but that's who I'm hoping are there. Silva, Thiago, and Saba. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were only talking about the wingers, but yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that, Thiago Almada is probably going to start in the middle. And, probably this might be a planned sub on this one where he doesn't see the full 90. And hopefully we're up and, it's not really that big of a deal. But, yeah, I think... Saba, of course, I think will start. I think that was the eye for this match. But Sean Silva, I'm not sure, also is match fit to be able to play 3 games in 1 week. So I have Tyler Wolff coming in which Saba was able to assist Tyler Wolff. I think, he earns this start here. Both of them do. And yeah, you saw a little bit of chemistry. So yeah, hopefully that continues, in which Saba can continue to feed Tyler Wolff, and he can get on the score sheet. So, and then I think
that would be really impressive to see if that transpires that way. That would be incredibly. That would be such like a harbinger of great things to come. I don't know.
Agreed.
If that's a term I can use there, but I think that would be really amazing to see Saba linking up with a player like Wolff and generating some goal-scoring threats. That would be really an incredible thing to see.
Right. Because it's definitely, like Tyler Wolff, he needs a facilitator. He needs somebody to be able to feed him. He's not maybe somebody that can exactly create a bunch of kind of chances for himself out of nothing. But he is a player that has an eye for goal and can put the ball in the back of the nets. And so definitely, I think this little combination could be something that we can keep an eye on for the future. And up top, I think, whether he's match fit for 3 games or not, I don't think we're going to see Jamal Tiare come in quite yet. And Miguel Berry, well, you might as well just concede this match if he starts this match. So, it's pretty given. I think Yorgos Giacomakis up top, at least for me. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's hungry. He really wants that golden boot. He really does. I mean, dominating the Scottish League, dominating the Eredivisie when he was there, and trying to win those accolades in 3 different leagues would be an incredible accomplishment for a player like him. So I think he's really going for it, and that would be an incredible thing to see from his first season with us.
Indeed. So, going through at least the lines for me: Guzan, Lennon, Robinson, Abram, Hernandez, Sejdic, Sosa, Saba, Almada, Wolf, and Giacomakis. And then for you? Yeah,
it's Guzan, Lennon, Robinson, Abram, Wiley, Tristan and Rosado. It's just, I don't know. I don't think, they're tired, but I don't know. Playing substitutions, hopefully, come and save the day. Saba, Thiago, Silva, and Yako.
All right. So, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below, but it gets us into the score prediction. And what do you think is going to happen, Michael?
Well, with your lineup you're going to pedal out there, I feel like we're going to draw. But if we put out my lineup, we win this game. That's what I think. I think it's like a 3-1 or 3-0 if it's the lineup I put out. Your lineup, though, I think it would be like a 2-2 or a 1-1.
Yeah. With my lineup, I think I'm making a more second half magic. I think we're just gonna try to keep it around where if we can get a 1-0 in the first half, and maybe there's or maybe it's 1-1, whichever. Just keep it kind of tight, kind of level, and then we can do the business in the second half. I think it's a 2-1 win. I think the second half is where all to do pretty much, and so we got to keep it tight. And on this away match on a weekday, it is what it is. We have to do enough to get the points, and it's not gonna be pretty, but I think it's possible, and I think it's probably gonna be maybe some set piece magic. So whether that's a free kick from Almada, or it's a free kick, or not free kick, a corner kick that Yorgos Giacomakis meets with his head. We shall see. But guys, let
me just read a little bit. Let me read a little bit about some statistics from DC from this year, just to give you kind of a bit of a background of what to expect from them. Their home form to this year, 5 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses. They have a +8 goal differential at home, 1.43 points per game. Their last form is win, draw, loss, win, draw at home. This season, it says on Footy Stats that their home form is poor overall. They're currently in 9th out of 29 teams in the entire table. They've won only 31% of their matches. Their home form is poor, like I said, with 5 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses. Their away form is considered good, interestingly, as they have a result of 4 wins, 3 draws, and 8 losses. MLS, obviously, we all know, is historically very difficult to play away. So getting 4 wins in a season, I guess, is considered pretty good when you kind of compare relatively to how the other teams are doing this season. So it says a lot about the rest of the league. At home, they have 36% of their wins. It's not very good. I think if you look at our stats comparatively, we are in a far better place. Like our home form, 9 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, +18, 2.00 points per game. I know we're getting to be a bit of a beast at home, which is nice to see again. Our away form is better than theirs, but still not great. Like I said earlier, I alluded to, and Jason Longshore talks about this all the time. Teams are struggling to get points away in the MLS this season, more so than kind of other seasons they've seen in the past, which is an interesting stat. So I think based on what I've seen from these statistics, DC is extremely vulnerable. Looking at some of their games that they've played recently, they've not done well. They've had trouble scoring in general. A lot of the games are ending with nils. So, it could be the case that we could get out of there off like a 1-0 or a 2-0 or something like that. Hopefully they continue to struggle to score. Then that for me is something to look out for, to see really how dangerous they come out the gates looking like. Hopefully they're flat and we can take advantage of that.
I mean, yeah, they've had some troubles, I think, in the squad department, where Taxi Fountas, as well as some players that have been pretty much released as well. It's not exactly great goings in terms of maybe the talent ID and especially the luck in terms of how those players are performing. So, yeah, definitely this team can be had, and hopefully we do. And we both predict wins. So what do you guys predict? Let us know in the comments below. But guys, that's pretty much the episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, how high do you think Atlanta United can get in the playoffs, or playoff spots in the East? Can we get a home playoff spot? Let us know in those comments below. Looking forward to what you have to say. But before we sign off, remember to sign up for our Patreon. Look out for the shout outs at the end of this episode if you're watching on YouTube. And yes, guys, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Michael, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.